Look, so I grew up not really giving a shit about the environment or not really caring about animals. I used to be a hunter. When I came over here, it wasn't for the right reasons. I didn't join the military to serve my country. I did it for adventure, and when I went to Iraq, it was for money. When I came over here, I was more looking for a fight than a cause. And then seeing the job that rangers do for a very small salary, being away from their families for months on end, protecting the heart and lungs of the planet, sort of made me reflect on a few different things. Namely, what am I doing as a person and with the skills I've got and the money I made from Iraq. The second thing, I suppose, was just seeing animals. Coming from Iraq, where you know what it's like to be hunted by another human, and then animals that don't really have an idea what's going on around them. Animals don't want a car or a paycheck or a bigger house. They just want to live, and we sort of continually take that away from them. Yeah, okay. So my name's Damien Mander. I'm an Australian. So what we've got going on here, we've got 160 candidates coming through selection to be a ranger.
Safety first, hold on to that log. Don't let it touch the ground.
So in 2017, we recruited the first two armed, all-female ranger squads here in Zimbabwe. And the program's now grown. We've gone from looking after one reserve to looking after 5, with a total of 1 million acres. So the women that we employ here, and the women that are about to go through selection, they're all from the local villages. So they're on the boundary of the area they're going to protect. So they have long-term vested interest in these areas and making them work. But they're all survivors of serious sexual assault, domestic violence, AIDS orphans, single mothers, abandoned wives, and we also put the call out into the communities for sex workers as well.
My husband used to abuse me. I can just simply say he was an abusive man. He was very violent to me, but I had no option. I have to move from that violence. So this is totally transforming the standard of life of all women. Most of the women from the first team of Akashinga, now they are drivers. Some of them, they are going to school. Some of them, they are building their houses. Most of them, they are developing themselves. And some of them, they are financially independent.
So what we're trying to do is create an opportunity for the most marginalised women in some of the toughest regions in one of the poorest countries on the continent. And look, when we did that, we did it for no other reason. We thought maybe if we give a job at some point, it's going to go to the ones that need it the most. But what we didn't realise is we were getting the toughest. We didn't want great CVs. We wanted scrappers, people that knew what it was like to have to fight to survive, and that's exactly what we got.
My name is Juliana Murumbi, and I joined this project of Akashinga in 2017. I remember when we were in Kenya, we did the training. We were mixed with the men, and I managed to challenge men in physical training, even in running, doing the long run, the push-up, the sit-ups, the drags. So I think we are just the same, because what they can do, I can do.
Look, there's no dispute that conservation is becoming increasingly militarised, and we played a major part in those types of operations for the better part of a decade. One of our operations on the Mozambique side of the Kruger border, we essentially had a war with the local population. We had helicopters, night vision equipment, canine attack teams, drones, and we had this ongoing conflict, and it was us against tens of thousands of people out there in the communities, because they didn't believe in what we were doing. Now, with what we're doing here, we've shifted the strategy, and we're working from the outside in, as opposed to this fortress conservation. And by working with the communities, we go from having an anti-poaching unit that's trying to defend an area to a community that believes that the area should be defended. And I think this age-old cliche of winning the hearts and minds, it can only truly be won when we engage the local community. And from everything I've seen in 2 decades of law enforcement across 3 continents, the best way to engage the local community and to get them on side is to work with the women. Anything is possible, okay? Are women going to die in a firefight here one day? I would say so. That's going to happen. It's the nature of this industry. It's a tough job. It'll be a sad day, but as our ranks swell and our exposure increases, there's going to be more and more poachers coming in here with weapons, and they're willing to kill elephants or the people protecting them. And all we can do is hope for the best and prepare for the worst.